losses. Um, I mean, the thing is, it's not a lot of Victory Hex value. That's the main thing. Okay, the results. And of course we can't see the replay because somebody decided it's not useful to put a replay button on here, because that's all they would have needed to do. I mean, that just load the game up again and run the replay stuff. But no, they didn't. So yeah, it's a draw, which, as I said, is not actually isn't that much of a surprise to me. The victory hexes are only worth 20 points each, and that's not worth fighting that hard over. Which is the reason I started pulling back, and somewhat minimize my losses. Inflicted about a third more losses on his side, but that always happens. I somehow managed to do that. So that's not bad. I mean, I think there's only been one battle where I've had more losses than he did, which was very disconcerting because I obviously I'd throwing men into situations where they could not survive. But like I said, the reason I started pulling back, which really made the battle very uninteresting after that, because once I realized that the platoon in the middle was basically wiped out, there was nothing there really to push forward with, and just trying to keep the rest of them alive. Because you can't do much. You can't do much with only one section left in the platoon. Obviously, I mean, there was one other or two other sections left, but they were in severely weakened state, so not much point. One of them only had 3 men left, and the other one had 5. So really not much point in trying to do anything with them. And in fact, that is the recommended procedure, is not to use teams that are that weakened, because taking the loss, losing the men is 1 point, losing the entire squad is the entire cost of it, which could be 20 points or so, and so that's like the value of 1 VL, right? Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty good. That's actually my first draw at 1,000 points. I'm pretty happy with that. But I still feel that not being able to push forward and actually gain victory X's is the problem, because you're not going to be able to gain. I mean, in a battle on a map with higher value victory X's, that is imperative. And I mean, and it's even more so on a map where you have per turn points per turn victory X's, where you just have to gain some of them at some point in the battle. I mean, you can only if you haven't gained some of them by halfway through the battle, then a draw is not possible. I mean, wins are fairly rare in play by email from what I've read. The only reason my opponent's been getting a lot of victories is because I suck. I'm not able to gain. I think this is the first 1,000 point battle where the victory X's were not very high value. I'd have to check, and I'd have to look at the old videos, because that's the only way I could be sure. I don't have it written down or anywhere. I have to look back at the old videos, the archives, to see if there's any actually old highlights, because the archives are gone. If there's any battles where I had low points, if there was, then this actually is a good sign, because that means that in that one I probably lost it because my casualties were too high, which would then shift the balance back. I mean, the thing of it is, he has more points, but it's still enough. It's really weird, because you would think, well, the ratio of that points, that ratio of that points is enough to make it make that a victory. But I think the value of casualties are really quite bad, and that's the problem. So, um, well, I mean that's pretty satisfying. Can I repeat it? That's what remains to be seen. Like I said, I'm planning to keep playing. It's just I have to overcome that. It's a lot to overcome. I mean, it's not just a yeah. I can play this game really well. I never could play this game really well to begin with, so that's uh, a fact. And playing against a human player who is very experienced and is quite skilled is, I mean, it's an uphill climb. That's not going to happen easily. But it would. But I kind of hope that after 10 games there'd be some noticeable improvement. But if I can a few draws here and there probably is best I can hope for at the moment. Until I can actually push forward. And not lose too many men doing it. Like I mean, his losses are high, but not excessive. So that's why. I mean, if his losses were excessive, he wouldn't be pushing that hard. And part of the reason why his losses are not excessive is probably because I'm not playing that well as well. I'm not really taking advantage of any opportunities that are coming up to just destroy his units. So I mean, there's a reason why he's able to push so hard. I think is that I'm just not able to. I'm not pushing back with the same force to give him pause and reconsider his advance, right? So well, that's it. That's play by email number 10 all done. On to play by email number 11, and we'll see what that will be very soon. Okay. Right. So what